Hello. Hello, everybody. And welcome to another stream. Just about a whopping 4 hours after the last one ended. And if you're asking, I still have not gotten any sleep. But anyway, we are counting down 8 minutes until the Spyro gets released. It's still going to say approximately 1 hour because Steam only talks in approximations. I mean, not approximations, it only talks in increments of an hour apparently. But my god, am I ready for this? I've been waiting for this since last year. Oh, I just realized I need to get a remote out. Also, yeah, it's thunderstorming outside. And all good stuff's happening. Anyway, I have to try and find a remote real quick. Oh no. My remote. I need a remote. Pardon me, everybody, while I go look for a remote. And I have found a remote. The search is over. No, I have no idea if the game's even going to be able to run on my second monitor. I mean, I don't know if it might just automatically jump to the first monitor like some games do. There hasn't been a lot of news around the PC version yet as far as capabilities and stuff goes. So yeah, I'm gonna get my remote plugged in. I'll be playing with an Xbox One remote because I've never touched a PS4 in my life, or PS3 for that matter. Anyway, so this is a mostly blind playthrough. Oh, it unlocks in 4 minutes. This is a mostly blind playthrough. I've I mean, let me phrase that. I've seen a lot of promotional material for the remaster and other stuff, but in terms of I haven't seen a whole lot. And as far as actual games go, I've only actually played Spyro 3, which, by the way, I loved a lot. Hey, Ty. Don't I need sleep? Probably, but I'm not gonna get it. Not for a while, anyway. At least, shit. At least not for a couple hours. Game goes live in how long? Like 3 minutes now? Let me see. Here, let's pull up countdown to time. Generic. Here. Oh no, that didn't work. Shit. Never mind. 2 minutes, guys. Preload. Game is not yet released. It releases in 2 minutes. 2 minutes. How about that? It might take a little bit for me to get set up with all the audio stuff, like just in like all that fun stuff. It's probably gonna take like 5-10 minutes before I actually start playing the game. But and oh my god, it's really storming outside of it. I assume you guys cannot hear that, but it's like thunder, tree outside my window blowing all over the place. And it's a big tree. I live on a 3rd floor, and the rain just won't let up. What a good day to stay home, not sleep. And oh, hello. Who's helloing? Hello, welcome. Welcome to the stream. Game launch. The game releases in 2 minutes on PC. All right. Assuming it's synced up to my computer's time, which it's probably not. We got 50 seconds. 59, 48, 47, 46, 45, 44. I'm not going to count down the whole time. But I'll let you know once it hits 10 seconds. Got 3 people watching, not bad. It's coming soon. Come on. 20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so now I gotta wait for Steam to catch up. Come on. Approximately less than an hour. Come on. It's released. It's 12 o'clock. It's ready. Ugh. Oh my god. Please don't tell me I'm early or some stupid crap. It. I don't know. Discussions. Five hours, and that was 4 hours ago. What? Oh, does it unlock at 1 o'clock? Oh my god. No, come on. I don't think it releases for another hour. Oh man. How I feel wasted. If we can like watch like Spyro stuff until then. I'm gonna rename the stream "Waiting for Spyro Reignited." Oh my god. Ugh. Yeah, I guess it doesn't go until 1 o'clock. I was wrong again. So what about like all trailers or something? Here, I got like the official Spyro YouTube channel. What is this?
Come on, roll with me. You about to witness something you never thought you witnessed before. Come on, dog. Come on. Spyro done came to the neighborhood, cuz.
Yep. Hello. Turns out Joku, turns out Spyro doesn't actually release for another hour. I was wrong, so.
Look, there he is right there. Spyro, what up, baby? Spit that fire one time. I told you had to come back. You've been gone too long. They ready for you.
What the heck?
Come down here and holler at me one time, nephew. I'm going to direct you in here. Come on in here, boy.
This is on the official page, by the way.
I've been waiting for this. I got something
Or
for you,
I'm
nephew.
pretty sure it's
Come
the
on
official
down.
page.
Check this out. I know you're going to dig this. Step your game up one time.
Oh my
Spyro.
god.
Oh, you fresh now. Spyro Reignited Trilogy. I'm finna go play this right now. Get out my face, man.
What? Oh, we got 5 people watching. Frick, let me see this. Oh my god, that's not right. This is the countdown. This is the countdown. This is the countdown for the till it releases. So I'll pull that up now and again. Oh my god. Jokey waiting for it to release 2 yats. Oh boy. Got a good long wait ahead of us. 55 minutes. Let's just watch some more of this, whatever this is.
Spyro got some kind of upgrade. Oh, bless you, fella. Let's get these goofs. Boom!
The remasters look so good. I haven't played them yet.
His new king
I've been waiting for the PC port.
I know that costs a lot of gems, nephew. Oh, is this man trying to steal from me? No, fool.
Why is Snoop Dogg commentating this? Why is there so much Snoop Dogg in all these?
Spyro, baby. Reignited Trilogy.
What?
You got a problem with that pussycat?
What? What? Yeah, it is worth the wait. I waited an extra year. It's like me with the Outer Worlds. Oh, it's being released on Epic Game Store? Oh, I'm waiting an extra year. Except I'm not, because I'm going to buy it on the Microsoft Store. Hey, thanks for subbing. Okay. There's one that doesn't sick burns. I swear this is going to have them,
Oh
my god.
Mm-hmm.
Why do we need Snoop Dogg in this?
Yeah. Get back over here. Roast it. Boom. Everyone is getting that Snoop sizzle out here, baby. Oh.
What is this? Why? Why would you do this?
Spyro, baby. Reignited Trilogy.
I'm not listening to him say that again. Reignited Trilogy. What? What are these for?
Those wolves are humongous. Don't mess with the young flame. Roast it. Everyone is getting that Snoop sizzle out here, baby.
Oh, this looks like a boss battle.
Got him. Oh, what the? It's a sheep. Get your butt back over here. I ain't got time for you guys. Boom.
The it's funny how unsatisfying a boss fight is when you take out the music, even with Snoop Dogg over it. So again, I've only actually played Spyro 3. A lot of these are new for me. The first two games are. So it's going to be very interesting. Oh, okay, this is not... What did they do to Sparks? Is that supposed to be Sparks? Why are his eyes like that? He looks so ridiculous. Looks like a chubby ant.
Here comes Spyro.
Oh, I remember those guys.
Nicely done.
Egg thieves. Yes. The wait. The wait. We got 51 minutes.
I smell a barbecue. Looks like I've got some things to do.
Hold your horns.
The skateboarding minigames. I remember some of these minigames actually being really difficult in this game, or in this, I suppose this whole series.
Wow.
Is that Cloud Spire?
Thank you for releasing me.
Watch this part, please. Hello. Oh, what's Hunter look? Oh wait, was that Hunter? Hello. Oh, that better not be Hunter. Oh, that better not be Hunter. I don't think that is. They wouldn't do that to Hunter. Money bags. Oh my god, Sheila. Sheila actually looks okay.
Who are you again? Spyro. 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 Spyro.
Also, the game I played, you basically never saw any dragons in, so. Spyro 3, there's like no dragons in, so. It'll be interesting to see the world.
That's me, all right.
The waiting. New platforms.
Sorry I took so long.
New Switch.
Bring it on. Come on, Spyro.
Let's see. I'm just curious to see Sunnyville.
Thanks, Spyro.
Wait, is that Sergeant Bird?
Thanks, Spyro.
Sergeant Bird. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Don't worry, I'll take care of them.
I'm curious. If I actually go to YouTube, I pull up my stream. I wonder how many other people are doing Spyro stuff right now. Let's see. Home. We go to the stream. Hey, it's got 1 like already. Not bad. Okay. Browse game. Live Canadian guy. There's a guy named Magic Nipples playing and detaining PC gameplay and data mine data mine stream. Yeah, it's not. I don't know. Somebody playing it on Switch, and maybe it released in different parts of the world earlier. All right. Maybe like Spyro Reignited review or something. Preload. Yeah, I think it's 1 o'clock before you buy.
And we are back with another episode of Before You Buy, the show
Just gotta
where we
kill
give
the
you
time.
some straight-up gameplay and some first impressions. I'm, of course, Falcon. I really wanted to play this. It's the Spyro Reignited trilogy, and let me go ahead and say, like, just up front, it's extremely good if you like collectathons. And that word bears some sort of stigma, I'll say, but here's the thing. There's collectathons done good, and there's collectathons done bad. I'm not going to categorize them for you, because it's honestly a matter of taste, and there's definitely going to be people who like collectathons
That's Sunny
that
Villa.
I don't like, and there may be different reasons that people like them. However, the Spyro type collectathon where everything is really not overblown, where there's a clear path, there's a clear sense of direction. The game is
Sunny
constantly
Villa.
giving you nice
It
big
looks so
doses
good.
of personality. As far as I'm concerned, that aspect of the game is not a negative. That being said, there is one massive, massive improvement in that you can actually control the camera. A lot of people may not remember this, but you couldn't do that.
Yeah, you
could press
could.
L1 or R1 and it would center the camera behind you, but that's not controlling the camera.
In the third one, you
And it's
could.
kinda
You had to
jarring
use the
when you
bumpers,
consider
though.
its competition,
The lower bumpers.
Nintendo
That's how you
64
moved the.
collectathons. On the Nintendo 64, they had the ability to do kind of camera movements using the C buttons in a lot of the collectathon games, particularly Mario World, but the PlayStation did not have as many buttons, and things like
They had
dual
the-
stick movement were not a thing. I mean, you can even go forward as far as Resident Evil 4, and there wasn't a standardized way to move
All I know is the third
around
game had it.
camera. But that's something that has been remedied. The new Spyro uses the Unreal Engine, and it uses it to good effect because it's a pretty game. Now, I wouldn't say that the original Spyro necessarily held up over the years, but if you go back and look at it, it doesn't look terrible. The animation's not so great, and it's super weird that you can't control the camera, and any footage of the game even looks super weird because you're thinking, why aren't they moving the camera? Why aren't they moving the camera? And that is honestly kind of a pet peeve for me going back to the old games, but now you don't.
I kind of like what they did with Mr. Moneybags.
Comparing it to the Crash Bandicoot remaster, Crash, they kind of had to invent a new art style for Crash Bandicoot to exist nowadays, whereas Spyro looks a little bit more like a contemporary 3D CGI animated children's film, which is great because it really works. And all of the characters just have this lovingly crafted detail. Lots of style. They're expressive. The voice actors are enjoyable.
So this runs on
even though
Unreal.
sometimes the things they say feel a little bit jarring because they're very specific instructions that involve things that are on the controller, and you have these well done performances of people saying,
So
like,
are Rhinox
press
in all the
the
games?
action button. We have a little bit less of the press the
Wow.
action button nowadays. For me, what makes Spyro worth playing, and this goes for the originals as much as the remaster, is simply the level design. The gliding mechanic that they gave Spyro is not something we've never seen before. In fact, Knuckles, the Echidna, and Sonic games functions pretty similarly. It's just this mechanic is utilized so well in creating levels that end up setting you back over areas in order to get to higher levels.
I set the
thanks
remote
to
up here for now, 'cause
gliding.
I'm not
For
gonna need
instance,
it.
you may run across in a certain
Just enjoy some
direction,
reviews or whatever
climb
while we
something,
wait.
and then run back over to something you may have seen up above you prior but couldn't reach. You
In the
glide
original
to
Spyro
it and
games,
you
the,
progress, and there's always a sense of
those gems were
"Oh,
actually
here's a
2D
new thing."
images
Whereas with a lot of collectathon
that just
kind of
moved on the
it
screen,
often would feel like retreading
pre-animated
certain
and
areas
stuff, 'cause I'm not-
constantly. I know that this is what turned me off
They
of
didn't
a lot
on,
of these types of games from this era.
having a
where
computing power to
Spyro,
render
I
all
think,
those polygons
worked
all the time
pretty
at
well.
all,
And it
all
still
the time
works
at the
pretty
time.
well,
So
but I'll say
I wonder if they're
this,
actually 3D
you get
now,
three
though.
games here, and none of them are particularly different from each other. The developer of the remakes, Toys for Bob, had a lot to work with. These games were originally made
That is
by
hi- that is
Insomniac
him.
Games, and
Oh,
everything
God, why did
Insomniac
they do to
Games
Hunter?
does right, you can go back and find in the Spyro games. In fact, if you particularly like Spider-Man, and I think a lot of us do, something that really might be interesting for you is to go back and play these games. Keeping in your mind the context that this team eventually made Spider-Man, you can kind of find little things that are the seeds of ideas.
Wait, do the
that
dragons
are
still have their
meant- you
names
can-
pop
Keeping
up?
in your mind the
Yes,
context
they do.
that this team eventually
All the
made
names.
Spider-Man, you can kind of find little things that are the seeds of ideas that we are still seeing in games today, like Sunset Overdrive and Spider-Man. And I think it's particularly evident in their level design. That's easily what I would praise most in the Spyro games. It's an early attempt at basically open world gameplay, and it gets it more right than a lot of recent attempts at open world gameplay. If anything, these three games excel at that one specific thing. They give you basically a collection of hub worlds and levels, but it
Oh,
feels
so they all
a lot
follow
like
that
an
formula,
open
okay.
world, without ever feeling like
So they're not all
there's
too
too
different.
much to do or there's no direction or anything like
That's
that.
good.
It's just
Means I'll probably like
dynamic
them all.
level design that understands there should be an actual goal as you're doing things, and if you orient the gameplay around that, the game tends to be more fun. Now, if you just plow through these games, you may end up getting a little impatient, because they're not really games that are designed to, introduce a ton of new stuff as you play. Most of the mechanics are available in the first game that you will be using for all three of these games. That being said, when they tried to add mechanics to Spyro later in the reboot series, it was I definitely prefer the gameplay of these games, and it's nice to go back
The
to it
reboot
without
series,
having
what,
to,
Skylanders?
have an awful camera system and with gorgeous
It took me for a long
visuals.
time to even
And
realize
while I do
Skylanders
think that
was
the gliding
Spyro.
mechanic and the level design
Spires.
utilization of it is basically the reason you should play Spyro. It's not without its flaws. There are areas where you will get lost and you have no idea what the hell you're doing or why you're still playing the area, because it feels like you've explored every corner of it, but oops, hey, there's something behind that tree, or there's
So I
some
wonder how many of the
bushes
same
that
voice.
block
I know
the view
it sounds like
that
some of the voice
door.
actors got
But let's just
replaced.
go ahead and say this. That's
So I'm
pretty
curious
much
on
the
which ones
worst
they
part
have,
about the game, and that's
which ones they
fairly
don't.
minor. As the series progresses, the bosses get a lot better, particularly you start seeing more mini games, little additional things, and
Is
it's
that
all
ripped
pretty
up?
worthwhile because honestly, it's just
I
fun
take it
to
that's
play the
Spyro
game.
too.
It's fun to enter into a new area, glide around, try to find out what you're supposed to do, try to find what you're looking for, and all of that. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that you'll definitely like this game if you don't like collectathons, but if you don't outright just hate the idea of collecting items, or you're even just open to seeing a version of that is actually really, really streamlined and fun,
Big
and also
bowls,
understand
yes.
that Insomniac Games are master designers and that all of their concepts still hold up today pretty damn well, then this is worth it. It's $40. It's not even a full price game. You get 3 games, and they're all fun. They are all a lot of fun. Not particularly complex fun, and for some people that may turn them off, but not me. I'm personally just fine with a platformer that does what it sets out to do quite well. Are you with me on that? Have you played Spyro? Or are you going to play Spyro? Leave us a comment. Let us know what you think. And if you like this video,
All right. This before you buy. Ant dude. Why not? Waiting on it.
I cannot even begin to explain how hyped I was for this. Sure, this only got announced earlier this year, but we all kind of figured that this was going to happen anyway after Crash came back with the Insane trilogy. As you may recall, now give us Spyro the Dragon. Ha, you're welcome, Internet. Hell, I have been excited at the
Spyro
mere
over Crash any
concept of
day.
this once games like Ratchet, Jack, and Sly Cooper all got their HD trilogies on PlayStation 3. I have already said this a bunch of times by now, but the original Spyro the Dragon trilogy played an integral part of my childhood.
I remember Spyro.
And after the franchise went in, let's just say, a direction that I wasn't really a fan of, Spyro then became a mere optional character in the Skylanders franchise, spawning just the friendliest and not at
What
all
the
terrifying
hell?
Halloween costumes.
Yeah, I'll never be okay with
Then
what they did to
They
Spyro.
finally did it. The Mad Lads actually did it. Spyro the Dragon got the remaster treatment. Also, he blazed up with Snoop Dogg. What the hell?
Spyro Reignited trilogy. I'm finna go play this right now. Get out my face.
My reaction to this.
What is happening?
My reaction to this.
Activision provided me a review code for the Reignited trilogy, and
Lucky
receiving
you.
that code was one of the most exciting moments I've had in recent memory. And after beating all 3 games and getting all of the trophies within a week of getting the code, I didn't really sleep much that week. I can go ahead and echo what basically
I'm not gonna be able
everyone
to pull
has
that
said
off,
at
but
this point. This is a fantastic
Yeah.
package of 3 really, really good platformers.
Basically me last
that
night.
If you're nostalgic for it, or you just
I thought it was
wanna
gonna
play
release
for
at
the first
midnight.
time ever,
Nope.
there's no
So
doubt that you should get this. It is a high recommendation.
ended up just working on my
That's
big
not
project
exactly what we're
on
here to
stream for
talk
8
about
hours,
today,
and I went to
though.
class and came back 4 hours
When we
later.
have a game that
expecting
is
it to
a
be up at
remastering
noon.
of something
Nope.
from back in the day, I feel it's more important to take a look at the differences between both versions as opposed to grading the games like each one gets a proper review. I already went pretty in depth with all 3 games a while back, but in short, they're all great 3D platformers with a
He did?
ton of charm and variety.
I'm
And
gonna
to
save
say
this then.
that has all been maintained
Sub.
here in the Reignited trilogy would be underselling it greatly. Like, wow, this game is so pretty. I didn't even want to move when I first landed in Artisans. I was too taken aback by how good it looked. It was then that it finally hit me like, wow, this is actually real. With all 3 games being worked on at basically the same time now, there is a level of consistency throughout all 3. Like that weird rolling move that I keep forgetting is in the first game, it's now in all 3.
Really?
Okay. Each game now has a toggleable map. Spyro 1 has some skill points like 2 and 3 did. Sparks can point out missing gems from the start of each game. Thank the heavens. And even though I loved Carlos Alazraqui as the voice of Spyro in the first game, Tom Kenny reprises his role from 2 and 3 and now
Thank
voices
God.
Spyro in all 3.
Thank
That's very nice.
God.
And then graphically, I mean, just look at it. This is amazing. The level of detail in each and every world is pretty jaw-dropping, especially when compared to the source material. Special mention has to go to the lighting and the reflection work. Holy crap, it's so nice. The soundtrack has been redone as well, with this new dynamic touch. Basically, if you stand still, the music
So there are some
calms
actual
down. If you
fundamental
start charging,
changes.
a galloping sound
Moves
overlays
carrying
the music.
over,
That's pretty cool.
different little
As a
things,
whole, the tunes to Spyro the Dragon
and a
are
reworked
as good as ever.
soundtrack.
And even though I do like the idea of dynamic music,
Dynamic
personally,
music.
I opted to turn that off. In
Oh,
general,
and there's an option. Good.
I also prefer the original tracks too. The new ones just feel a little too soft, in my opinion. Very noticeably so, with a less powerful fireworks factory. But luckily,
Fireworks factory.
those original soundtracks are here
Good.
as well.
I'm turning on the original
Perfect.
music.
And then any and all
I want to hear the
cutscenes
remastered, but
are
I'll do
so
that in my
much
own
fun
time. I want to
watch.
hear the original
This
music.
is now a full-on animated cartoon, and anytime one of the cutscenes was playing, I had a huge smile on my face. Seeing these characters that I loved watching growing up with such fine detail and great movement, oh, it's so good.
That's the beginning of Spyro
and then
3.
Sparks waves at you sometimes, and oh, it's so cute. I
Oh
felt
my
weird
God.
about him having legs, but then he waves at you, and I'm on board with this. Also, the little light bar on the PlayStation 4 controller changes color depending on what color Sparks is. How is no one else talking about this? Now, when discussing the presentation, this is
Worth
where
the wait
any of my
very much.
complaints really come in. The load times between levels are nearly twice as long as they were in the originals. Now, I did see this coming after Insane
Well, I've
Trilogy
heard
had
other
long
things
load
about that as
times
far as
at launch
PC
as
goes.
well. It's
I
still
watched this guy's
disappointing to
video on
see. At
PC
least
and
in
avoiding
Bees,
stream
you
was
get
like
to move
10
Spyro
seconds
around.
or
In
less.
Crash, we just had to deal with Aku floating around like, hey, you ready to play? Just give it like an extra minute, I promise. They also got rid of the whole gems flying across the screen thing. That's pretty lame. There are the occasional frame drops as well, which is not a huge deal, but what is annoying, who in the hell thought that this level of motion blur was okay? I have never had an issue with motion blur in the past. This is the first time that spinning the camera too quickly actually kinda messed with my eyes. Eventually, I did train myself to just like look at Spyro's butt when I spun the camera, and that did help, but that's not something I should have had to do in the first place.
Egg
Listen,
thief.
man, I already have bad vision due to video games. The last thing I need is Spyro, of all games, to make me update my prescription. Hopefully some of these things are ironed out in a patch or an eventual PC release, but hey,
PC's
I had
coming,
to deal with
PC's
a
here,
blurry
PC's
Spyro
here
during
in
launch. I am damn well gonna talk
PC's
about
here
it.
in
And this
22
part is
minutes.
pretty
I'm
minor
32
as
minutes.
well, but I think the credits were mishandled too. The
There you
sweeping
go.
landscapes from the original games, that was awesome.
Countdown.
And it showed the locations
Da-da-da-da.
from their respective games.
Da-da-da-da.
Here, it's one uniform credit for all three games, and there is some cute concept art that I'm not gonna really spoil if you haven't seen it, because it's really, really adorable.
Oh my
Then
god.
it just transitions into the typical credit scroll. That was kind of unfortunate. Obviously, none of this hampers the overall experience, because
Oh, God.
otherwise, boy, Toys for Bob nailed this. Spyro controls so damn well. Like the originals did support analog control, but here he is just smooth as butter and an absolute joy to control. I was a little worried at first because the gliding seems to be a bit nerfed in terms of the distance that you can travel, but conversely, the charge jumps are kinda buffed. So eventually I was able to make any jump that the game asked me to do. I just had to change my mindset of how to tackle some of them. And once I did, man, jumping, gliding, hovering, it all came naturally. And now there is camera control on the right analog stick.
Cap
with shooting
camera control
fire
that's
set to
not
the
just on the
back right
bumpers
button,
now.
which is honestly
Very,
beautiful.
very welcome
I
change.
I love this so much. But yeah, it may be too early to say if this is the definitive Spyro experience,
It is.
but it is damn well close.
This is
Now
definitive
that's all the
Spyro.
general stuff out of
This
the
is
way.
all that
With the
needed.
Spyro the Dragon trilogy, each game in said trilogy offered its own brand of original content and original ideas. So the fine folks at Toys for Bob, they had a lot of stuff to cover. So we're gonna go through each game individually, talk about some of the good, some of the bad. We're gonna go really in depth here. Let's just get started with the first one,
All right.
Spyro the Dragon.
Spyro the Dragon.
Hey, remember when I said Nasty Nork was probably watching this interview on TV or something? Like, how else would he be able to see this video feed? Ha! Called it! So Spyro 1 seems like it had the most care put into it. The original game
Really?
is incredibly bare bones and aesthetically pretty flat and empty.
Okay.
You go into a
You mean the
level, you
remaster
get the
did.
things, you go out, rinse and repeat. Obviously, that is the same here. However, the creative liberties taken throughout the entire game really make this classic adventure shine. While every dragon in the original was basically just a recolor of another one, some of them even reused the same voice clips.
Thank you for releasing me.
You shut your damn mouth. Now every dragon is completely unique, with not only original animation that looks amazing and really good voice work, but new outfits and styles too. Every single dragon stands out with their own personalities, and even in some of their exit animations, they're just so full of life.
Spyro, it's great to see you.
Yes.
I gotta go.
Some of the "thank you for releasing me" dragons even have modified dialogue.
You can always check your progress by accessing the guidebook through the pause menu.
Even the different balloonists, they speak too. Like, wow, okay.
Balloonists.
That totally threw me for a loop.
What are
And
those?
I have seen some people say that the Norks are now just a bit too ugly. Wasn't that the whole point? The entire
Norks.
premise behind the original game's plot is Nasty Nork being called ugly and then he goes on a rampage. I really wouldn't have it any other way. Really,
Yeah,
everything
Norks.
in this game has
Okay,
been
so
kept
Norks in the
faithful
first
to the
game,
originals.
Rhinox are in the third. What's in the
I
second?
love all of the modified enemy designs, and all of the credit in the world here. They even replicated some of the original's weird sound effects. Oh, I love it so much. Oh, without a doubt, it's the landscapes that keep this game more interesting from start to finish. The levels just pop more than ever, and I couldn't help myself from just stopping and taking the world in. Like, for example, Dark Hollow, it now doubles as a library. That's really neat. The same can also be said for the flight stages.
The flight stages.
There are some noticeable changes to how Spyro controls here. I've noticed that, like, the flame hitbox as well as turning speed aren't quite as precise as the originals, but before long, I was knocking these stages out just as smoothly as I always do. And as for the boss fights...
Oh, that's terrifying.
Well, I mean, these guys have always been pretty lame. There's not much more you can do with them. You can't really alter what they've always been, a slight little obstacle in some of the game's shorter levels. Though like a cutscene or something introducing them would have been nice, instead of just them being there. And of course, that does mean we end off with a very easy chasing sequence.
Oh, yeah,
with
I
Dusty
remember
Morph,
this the first game.
Which, the end of the game is still pretty anticlimactic. But, at the very least, now I know what Blowhard is supposed to be. I really couldn't tell with this pixel vomit. So while the core gameplay of the original stays the same as we all expected, with it being pretty repetitive from level to level, the more interesting and varied artistic choices in regards to the levels and the freed dragons, as well as Spyro just feeling so much better to play as, this is definitely an improvement over the original. Literally the only part about this entire thing that kinda sucks is the enemies in Twilight Harbor. They man like these goo guns now. And say what you will about guns in cartoony games, but at least be kinda consistent. If Pinstripe can still rock his infinite ammo Tommy gun, I don't know why we gotta resort to
Pinstripe, haven't heard that one.
slime. That's very weird censorship. There is some nostalgic charm to the PlayStation 1, for sure, but man, this made me re-love Spyro 1 all over again. The first Spyro, much like the first Crash, had the strongest impression it had to make when it came to being remade. There were a lot of parts about the original game that just felt kind of outdated, and I think when it came to this remake...
Oh, we got 5 people again.
damn well nailed it. But, now we move on to the sequel. Spyro 2
I'm just watching
added
videos
a
right
lot
now
to the
while we
core
wait for
formula, so
it to be released.
there's a lot of stuff I'm kinda worried about, but let's just see how they do.
This is the countdown so far.
Time for Ripto's Rage.
Countdown.
They didn't even call it Gateway to Glimmer in the European Reignited trilogy.
Countdown
I guess
for
America
PC.
Wins. Spyro 2 is a much more character-driven adventure. We are immediately introduced to 3 new characters as soon as the game begins. I bring this up because I really just want to reiterate how well animated this game is. Oh, they made Allura like super cute now. I love it. And then when you first dive into Summer Forest, oh man, the developers totally had to know that these hubs were totally beloved by fans. They are absolutely gorgeous and just as fun to explore as they always have been. So the main difference with Spyro 2 comes in a stronger variety of level themes and the addition of a challenge-based structure. With each world now having characters to inhabit it, there is a lot to consider here when it comes to preserving the original ideas behind each of them. Like with any of the other cutscenes in the game, each level is bookended with scenes showing the world's citizens having a problem, and then life after Spyro comes through and fixes things. And just like how they were on PS1, they are just as great here. Some of them have even been modified to make a little more sense. Like in the end of Hurricos, one of the Electrolls slaps the other one for no real reason. As funny as that was, I'm not gonna lie. Now, that no longer happens. Nice touch, makes a little more sense. The one guy in Magma Cone still burns a lava-filled death. Glad they maintained that. The guns, that's a little bit extreme, but dying from lava, it's for kids.
Oh my
Rest
god.
in peace, my guy. And since we've already confirmed that Spyro basically controls perfectly, the main point of concern now is if the different minigame challenges work as intended. And yeah, they pretty much nailed that too. It almost ends up being kind of uninteresting to talk about here because, like, really, if you played Spyro 2 before, that about covers it. Nothing really stands out as being much better or worse than it used to be. If anything, some of the missions, like the infamous trolley one, are made a little easier. Like whenever you switch lanes, it slows you down a little bit, giving you just an extra second to judge where you have to go next. Makes the ride a whole lot more pleasant.
Trouble with the trolley, eh?
Not anymore, you big stupid idiot! The camera has also been altered for a few of the challenges too, sort of maintaining the standard game's camera instead of opting for these challenge-specific ones. It's minor and it never really causes any issue, so sure, good change. And going back to the character designs, man, I really just, I love them. I love them so much. Most of them still give off the same vibes as their original looks. The children in Scorch are a little weird looking, but I guess they were supposed to be standard human kids here, so fine.
What?
And then speaking of Scorch, poor Bombo got censored too. Now he's just Bob. Okay, fine, I guess I can accept that one. The name Bombo is a little bit more extreme. He still sucks too. And that same level of weirdness goes for Agent Zero too. I know he was kind of just like a blob of big pink flesh before, but I don't know. He makes me kind of uncomfortable now. And while the voice acting, for the most part, is top-notch, some of the purposefully bad voice acting in Zephyr, I kind of miss it.
Romeo! Romeo!
Wherefore art thou, Romeo?
It's like they missed the whole point of those characters sounding bizarre.
My pencil! My pencil!
Okay, no, you've made that objectively worse. Then there's the dancing skeleton.
The
You
dancing
remember that
skeleton.
thing,
I remember
right?
the dancing
It was
skeleton.
pretty fun
Yes.
in the original. Well, now he flosses.
Oh no.
And the music has air horns in it. Oh, it's gross. Oh, hey, Wumper Fruit. Nice. Essentially, when talking about Spyro 2, for the most part, the high bar of quality from the original has been maintained, and many of the issues are really just nitpicks due to nostalgia.
Is that a wolf?
kicking in.
Oh, that's
That being
cute.
said, though, I did have a couple of problems here. The cameras for the boss battles could be a little bit better. Gulp, in particular, got way too much of a difficulty spike. I'm not sure why that is. Thankfully, though, the Ripto fight is still really cool. Was pretty worried about that. I'm not gonna lie. That's one of my favorite fights of the trilogy. It's just as awesome as ever. Thank goodness. Oh yeah, and now when you have a power-up, Spyro's entire design changes.
Whoa.
Oh, that's so cool.
That
There's
is
also
cool.
a pretty noticeable difference when it comes to swimming too. For as perfect as the rest of the game feels, for some reason they added this weird inertia system to swimming, where Spyro now slows down to a stop and leans into his turns rather than just having super sharp movement. I was able to make do with it for the most part, but it's a surprising misstep. This same inertia idea is present during the flight levels as well, but again, I was able to make do. In those, a lot of the turns that you make are broad enough to where I'm totally fine with somewhat sluggish movement. It's not ideal, but I can do it. They also didn't fix the crap where if you do the stupid alchemist mission before getting the headbutt, you have to do it again when you do get the headbutt. That is literally the worst part of the game. Why did you not change that? Top 10 most annoying characters in
20
video
minutes,
games.
20
Number
minutes
1,
indeed.
The Alchemist. Ultimately, Spyro 2 had the
19,
least amount of
19
work
now.
put into it, since, in my opinion, it was the one that needed it the least. Controls for basically everything,
Spyro 3.
aside from swimming, are damn near perfect.
Or in a Spyro
quality
2.
of challenges has been maintained.
I think.
The game looks and sounds incredible, as did the first game.
Yep, this
And
is Spyro
barring
2.
the censorship in Colossus,
I think you should torch that Yeti.
I think you should kill that Yeti.
oh my god, dude. Spyro 2, Ripto's Rage is still a great time. They did remove that sick double jump exploit though. I knew they were gonna. Like, it's obvious, it's a glitch, it's not supposed to be in there. It still stings. And now we move on to Spyro 3 Year of
Spyro
the Egg.
3.
You see, when it comes to the trilogy thus far, the first game had a lot of stuff it had to add to make it level with the other two games. Spyro 2 just kind of had to maintain and simply be better looking and better playing. Spyro 3, though, there was a lot more added to this one.
Really?
It is a beefy game.
Oh god, what did they do?
Alright,
What did they do to my love child?
Myself, I'll keep Spyro's part pretty short. For the third game in a row here, Yeah, he plays exactly the same, meaning basically perfect. And just like in Spyro 2, the quality of minigames has been maintained as well.
Good.
As have the modifications to the character designs. I was really hoping that we would get some sort of level opening and closing cutscenes like in the second game, but we didn't. Fine, I guess we'll keep it faithful. And yeah, once again, I am totally on board with most of these character design changes. They really all do feel like an upgraded version of their
Dino,
original
whatever
self,
it's called. I
being
remember that
similar
place.
and new at the same
Yes.
time. Like just look at Crazy Ed. I love him. He's my favorite design. Also, can I get a hello to Bianca, now looking like Lola Bunny from Space Jam? Certainly a whole lot better.
It's actually
than...
really accurate.
Yeah, but as we all well know, they added a ton of different gameplay styles into this third adventure.
They did.
A handful of different vehicles, skateboarding of all things, and a bunch of new characters. This was the game I was worried about the most going into it, and thankfully, I can confirm, just like everything else in this package, they are all pretty great, if not just as good, meaning still slightly annoying as the originals.
Bentley.
Like skateboarding, it is such a minuscule part of the entire trilogy. I was really nervous that this was going to be bad, and some of the physics are slightly off, but it's more or less what we're used to. That being a not as good Tony Hawk Pro Skater clone. And yes, don't you worry your pretty little heads, you can indeed ride on a squid skateboard.
A squid? A what now?
Yo, these developers care. First up, Sheila the kangaroo. She already played fine in the original, no major
She looks
complaints
alright.
here, but she still manages to control better in Reignited. She feels a lot less heavy, her kicks come out faster, her jumping, it just seems more satisfying. That could just be me. But yeah, no complaints in the original, no complaints here. She controls great. And she is also, like, super adorable. Oh my goodness, she has this really cute hairstyle now and this, like, ranger vest. Oh my goodness, I love it. Next up, there's Sergeant Bird.
Sergeant Bird.
He still takes a little bit of time to get used to, but he is nowhere near as stiff as he used to be.
Good.
The rockets that he shoots seem to have a way stronger homing ability now, making
He used to handle
combat
so weird.
way less annoying. He also, like, waddles when he walks. Oh my god, he's adorable too. Then we have Bentley the
What did they do to Bentley?
my least favorite from the original. He is still pretty slow and clunky to play as. That's just how
What did
he
they do
is.
to Bentley? What did
But
they do
it's
to my
now
adorable
presented with
Bentley?
an
Why?
over-shoulder camera. I like that.
He looks weird
So,
now.
I guess that's
He looks
better.
cool, but he
Yeah.
looks weird.
He's also a lot furrier this time around, so
Yeah,
okay,
very
sure,
much.
Third time's the charm. He's more adorable too. And of course, we have Agent 9.
Agent 9.
Oh man, it's a third-person shooter now with totally separate camera control. You can move one way and aim in another. You
Oh,
can
so
aim
they
up
fixed
and
his
down, too?
levels.
Like it's like an actual game now. Oh, this is so much better. Even the first-person segment is way improved. Thank you. And adorable?
Yeah, and
All
he's
of
just
those
as creepy as he always
segments are simply
was.
better than they were before. So while it is still a little jarring that they added as many different gameplay styles as they did back in the day, I'm just glad they did the best with what they got. These are great. But then there's the matter of Sparks' levels too. Those
Sparks.
segments are basically exactly the same. I was hoping that they would have adapted like a twin stick approach where you move with the left stick and then aim and shoot with the right, but whatever, it is what it is. Oh dear God, what the hell is that? That's okay, sure, yeah, alright.
Oh my
I
god.
will say though, for as much improvement as Spyro 3 got, the game also seemed to have the most issues between all three. Like, I mentioned before that the whole inertia while flying thing didn't really bother me a ton before, but then there's the twin dragon fight, and that was already annoying in the original, and now
Yes, it
there's the
was.
worse flying controls. They made the fight more annoying. That's cool, and since now the speedways have racing missions as well, with a bunch of speed boosts that you have to go through to win said races, it further emphasizes that they really should have kept the sharp movement here. I had quite a few glitches pop up too, way more so than the other two.
Ooh.
Nothing overly massive, though I did end up soft locking the game here as the puppy wouldn't go on the switch, so I couldn't progress until I killed myself. That was strange. The camera can sometimes goof up with Sergeant Bird in tight sections. That's annoying. Oh,
Camera
and
up his
also,
butt.
boxing with Bentley still sucks. There ain't nothing anyone can do to save that.
Oh god, I hated it.
Hello, my honey. Hello, my ragtime gal.
But back on the positives, the boss fights are way better
Oh
here
my god,
than they were in
yes.
Spyro 2. Look at how zoomed out the camera is for these. This is what Crush and Gulp needed. It's also nice that I get to see this one cutscene actually play in-game. I mentioned this in my Spyro 3 video, but since I don't have the greatest hits version, that cutscene just straight up doesn't play in the first release of that game, so I didn't even know it existed until like a few years ago. And yes, that means the greatest hits version of the soundtrack was used as well. I'm sure that's gonna make a lot of people happy. So as a whole, Spyro 3 Year of the Dragon was handled shockingly well. Like I said, this was the one that I was the most worried about, and as it turns out, Toys for Bob wasn't even too responsible for this one. Sanzaru Games, the makers of Sly Cooper Thieves in Time, was brought on board to handle all of these different gameplay styles.
Good.
This was just done to speed up the development time, but thankfully, they did a pretty great job. And actually, if I'm being totally candid with you, I may end up liking Year of the Dragon more than Ripto's Rage in this collection. Like, the issues that I had with the PS1 release was that the
See how
entire
Bentley
game
used to look?
kind of felt disjointed. A good chunk of the segments with the new characters just felt kind of janky and maybe even rushed, which, like I mentioned already, has been addressed. And as minor as it was, I didn't like how each of these portals had a loading screen to go along with them. I like exploring these worlds for exploration.
Come on.
Not just finding
12
a portal
minutes.
and then waiting for the minigame to load.
Ooh.
But now the load times are almost
12
instantaneous,
minutes.
making everything just so much more seamless. It feels really good. Guys, Spyro the Dragon's back, and that feels really good. So, yeah. I had a lot of stuff in mind, a lot of things I wanted to say about the Spyro Reignited trilogy. It had mighty big boots to fill, and I do think Toys for Bob
It filled them.
really nailed what they were setting out to do. This
It
isn't
filled
just,
them.
hey, it's another classic game getting the remaster treatment. Oh, joy! This is pure nostalgia.
10 minutes.
Treated with the love and care that, quite frankly,
10
it
minutes.
deserves. And
Uh,
it's really, really awesome. Ripto's Rage was already my favorite going into the Reignited trilogy, so I'm happy with what I got here. I really didn't expect much more out of that one. Spyro 1 and Year of the Dragon, on the other hand, got massively improved, so while it may feel kind of uneven that Spyro 2 didn't get as much of an upgrade, to me, I just look at it as all three games now being on equal footing. I'm really not sure how I would end up ranking each of these games in this collection. It's a little bit
Less
too
than 10
soon
minutes.
for me to fully tell. But what I can say is a few issues aside that will hopefully be patched out, Toys for Bob and Sanzaru Games completely
10 minutes.
knocked this out of the park. Spyro the
Y'all
Dragon,
ready?
Ripto's Rage, and Year of the Dragon. The Reignited trilogy is an excellent way to experience these classics, and I can only hope that this leads to a bright future for good old Purple Boy here. It is long overdue. So I did end the Insane Trilogy video asking for Spyro, and then we got Spyro.
He's gonna ask for
So
Sly now.
clearly I have some magical powers here that I didn't know I had. I need to pull from that again if I want to get another classic game remade from the ground
Sly?
up. Okay, let's see here. We got Crash, we got Spyro, Medieval, Wipeout is a thing. Also, can't
Sly.
forget about that. What else?
Sly.
Oh.
Sly Cooper. Maybe.
Ape Escape. There you go. Give us Ape Escape. Ape Escape, the recaptured trilogy, rolls right off the tongue.
What
You
is
can take
Ape
the
Escape?
name. I won't ask for royalties. I think this one's next. Sounds good to me. Yeah,
What is Ape Escape?
that's all I got. I'm gonna go play these Spyro games again. Bye.
We got 9 minutes. Let's go get the store page real quick. Approximately less than an hour. 33 curators have reviewed this project. For the action platform, this is sure to put a smile on your face. Great new players. Terminator recommends this. Yes. Let's check. Well, not Fortnite. Why play it then? Don't play any game unless it's Fortnite. What? Subway. The unofficial mascot of the first Sony PlayStation hitting Steam. Back in the day, it was considered as Sony's answer to Nintendo Super Mario 64. Yeah, Spyro was so good. Preload's complete. 8 minutes. This is gonna be fun. I'm so hyped. I'm also super hungry. I probably should have eaten before I streamed. I mean, I did, but I'm still hungry. Seven minutes. Oh, the wait, oh, the wait, oh, the wait, oh, the wait. I'm going to put the timer up. Ooh. Who's ready? Who's ready? Who is ready to see Spyro on PC? Oh, we're getting there. Five minutes. You can't wait? Woo! You have no English letters in your username, so I have no idea what to call you. But what else? If I just search Google for that, what's that mean? Translate. Oh, it means you meow. Alright, your name's Meow. Okay. Meow in Japanese. Or not Japanese, whatever, I mean, wherever that is. It's not Japanese. Chia? Yeah, Chia will work. Chia works. Chia. Alright. We're so dang close. Alright, meow it is. People are gonna start thinking I'm a cat. Meow. Alright. Actually, I can use this to see exactly how far... Yeah, okay, so the stream is delayed by 17 seconds. Okay. That's interesting. we're so close. All right. So yeah, it's 17 seconds. That's interesting. Two 12, 211, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We got 2 minutes. 2 minutes. "90 seconds. I'm just so excited to experience 2 Spyro games I've never played before. "60 seconds. I have no idea what to expect. I mean, a little bit, but other than the effect that I'm expecting greatness. 40 seconds. I'm gonna grab my sweatshirt real quick. Oh, it's all the way over there. I'll be real quick. 30 seconds. "18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 1 o'clock. Oh, come on. Okay, I'm willing to believe it's a little... Come on. Alright. Store page. "This item is not yet available." What? What's going on here? Spyro PC. What's going on with like the Twitter page? Oh, what's it doing now? Ah. At least error code fun. Wait, what? Am I back? Am I back?